Everyone, I said before that I'm a fan of horror movies, and a lot of people can understand that. But a lot of horror movies actually have some deeper meaning in them. And of course, it's not just horror movies. So now I'm not only going to talk about horror movies. It's going to be mostly horror movies, though, because a lot of horror movies do have deeper meaning in them. But I'm going to talk about movies in general that have deeper meaning in them. I talked about some of them in greater detail, but since I don't have time to talk about all of them, I'm just gonna do a little summary here and mention several movies. Some of them I have talked about, and some of them I have not talked about, that have deeper meaning in them, and I'm just gonna tell you what a deeper meaning is. And since in this video, I don't have time to talk about them in detail, explain to you why this is, it would take too long. So you just have to believe me, and if you don't, go watch the movie and watch them in the light of what I said, and you will realize yourself that, oh, this is what it's actually about. So what do I mean? For example, I'm just gonna throw this at you, okay? For example, Alien, Alien is a great movie, the original one. The other one's not so much, but the second one is great too. But what a lot of people don't realize is that Alien has a deeper meaning in it, which is Alien is actually about rape. And there's a lot of symbolism in it that hints to that. So go, if you don't believe me, go watch it in that light, and pay special attention to some of the symbolism. In regard, look out for symbolism that might suggest rape, and you'll find a lot of it. I said that before. I was actually abused myself when I was a little child. I was abused by my mother, and the funny thing is, well, it's not really funny, but I was about 4 years old when she sexually abused me. Of course, it works a little different, when women abuse a little child. So, but anyway, also because of that, she never, she would have let me watch. She was letting me watch just about everything on TV, and she actually forced me to watch porn movies when I was very young, so that wasn't so good. But she also actually pretty much forced me to watch Alien, because she watched it and I had to watch it with her. And I was 4 years old, and I watched Alien, and it gave me nightmares for weeks. But also, even back then, on a subconscious level, the rape symbolism on a subconscious level, I noticed that even back then, but back then it was subconscious. I wouldn't have been able to tell you about it, and I very much sympathized with the character of Ripley, and I couldn't understand why. But now I know it was because Ripley in Alien is essentially a rape victim. So anyway, let's move on to Alien 2, Aliens, which is about the Vietnam War. Okay, enough said. Watch it if you don't believe it. I talked before about Toy Story 3. Well, that's not a horror movie, but, well, it kind of is, for children. I talked about this before, or rather, I will talk about it, depending on when I'm going to upload the video. Toy Story 3 is, about a gulag, or whatever you want to call it. Oh, another important horror movie is, of course, I must not forget that one. The Exorcist, the first one. The Exorcist is also about rape. But again, this is, a lot of people watch those kinds of movies and they don't understand it, and they think, oh well, this is a horror movie. Yes, but it's not really. Just like with the example just now, Toy Story 3, yes, on the surface it's a children's movie, but that's just on the surface. Toy Story 3 really isn't for children if you understand the deeper meaning behind it. And it's the same with the horror movies. They're really not horror movies if you understand the deeper meaning behind them. And the same is true with The Exorcist. It's really not a horror movie if you understand what it's really about. It's a very psychological movie, and it really is about rape. It's not so much that Regan is possessed, well, that too, but it's not so much about, mystical things like the devil and good and evil and possession and demons. It's about that too. But it's mainly actually very psychological, and it's about rape. Regan gets raped in this movie. Of course, you don't see it directly, but you see the effects that it has on her. Of course, you have to take it a little, symbolic. It's not literal, just like the symbolism in Alien. It's hinted at through symbolism. Okay, but watch it in that light. Pay special attention to the character of Burke. Okay, in The Exorcist, he's actually the key. In a lot of those movies, in a lot of those horror movies with hidden meanings in them, they have some minor character that when you watch it the first time, you don't really pay special attention to them, but they're actually oftentimes they're key characters. Okay, so in this in Exorcist, the character of Burke appears to be a minor character that's not important, that's not connected to anything. But pay special attention to him, what he does in regard where he is, where is Regan, where is he, what does he say, what does he do. Pay special attention to him when you watch The Exorcist, and you will realize that it's really about rape. Okay? Also, of course, pay special attention to what Regan says and does. Okay? Because she actually acts like a typical rape victim. Or like a possessed person. I talked about this before. I used to work in a mental hospital, and we had a lot of patients like that. And we used to joke that this guy is gone so far. He's totally crazy. So the doctor can't help him anymore. Call an exorcist. And oftentimes it was like that. You really couldn't tell, was this guy possessed or was he just plain crazy, but it's pretty much the same thing, back in the day, I don't know, during Jesus' time, they would have said, oh yeah, this guy is possessed. But nowadays we would just call it multiple personality disorder or whatever, So it's really the same thing. It's just that, of course, religious people would regard it as being possessed, while psychiatrists would say it's a mental disorder. It's really the same thing, actually, pretty much. Let's move on to, The Exorcist 2 was crap. The Exorcist 3 was good, but there's not much of a hidden meaning in there. A little, but it's a good movie. Go watch The Exorcist 3. It's a good movie. The next movie with some hidden meaning in it was the next one that was cancelled somehow, and then it was broadcast again. I don't know, I get a little confused. It was called Dominion, prequel to The Exorcist. Was it that? Yeah, I think that was the original one. Anyway, that also has some hidden meaning in it, but it's not as hidden, so there's nothing much to say about that. Another interesting movie that is both a children's movie and a horror movie is Coraline. With the puppets. Is it a Tim Burton movie? I'm not sure. It could be a Tim Burton movie. It also has some hidden meaning in it. Also relating to child abuse. There's some symbolism in it, that suggests that. Another great movie like that is the movie 9. Is also kind of similar to Coraline. I think it was done even by the same production crew, by the same studio and stuff. I think that is a Tim Burton movie. Well, not sure. And this also has some symbolism in it. The symbolism isn't as hidden as in the previous movies I mentioned. You know, it's actually not hidden at all. It's just that a lot of people don't get it because they don't know what it's about. It's about, you have to know a little bit about Christian and Greek mythology, you know, specifically about Lucifer and Prometheus. Okay. Oh, which brings me to another alien movie, which is actually called Prometheus. It also has similar symbolism, but I'm not going to talk about Prometheus because it's pretty much the same symbolism as in 9. 9 is about Prometheus, not the alien movie Prometheus, but the alien movie Prometheus is of course also about the, you know, mythological character of Prometheus, and 9 is about the mythological character of Prometheus, aka Lucifer, because it's actually pretty much the same character, you know. It's just that Lucifer is the Christian version and Prometheus is the Greek version, okay? But it's pretty much the same guy, same symbolism. Okay, and now you're thinking, Lucifer? Yeah, well, yeah, he is kind of the devil, but as is Prometheus, kind of, you know, he's not really a good guy, but it relates to, you know, to the, you know, age-old theme of, you know, man playing God, basically, you know? So, yeah, there's a lot of symbolism regarding that. There's a lot of symbolism regarding Prometheus / Lucifer in 9. And the main character, the puppet / scientist, basically represents Prometheus, you know, and he brought about destruction, obviously, through, you know, he's kind of like, you know, the scientist guy, and the main character is kind of like what's it called, Oppenheimer. Yeah, Oppenheimer. Yeah, he was called Oppenheimer, right? The guy who invented the atomic bomb. Well, not invented it, but built it, basically. And the guy who's voicing him is actually called Oppenheimer. So, and it's actually related to the real Oppenheimer. So I don't think that's a coincidence, particularly if you're aware that this guy is actually an Oppenheimer character, which is also a Prometheus-like character. And when I say Prometheus, I'm talking, you know, Frankenstein, you know, because you might not have known that, but the original title of the book, Frankenstein, was something like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus. So Frankenstein has always been basically a modern version of Prometheus. And now I've also explained another horror movie, which is Frankenstein. Well, there have been many movies that were called that. Most of them were not true to the book. Yeah, but the book, Frankenstein, was also about that, was about Prometheus. You know, if you're not familiar about, you know, the legend, or whatever you call it, about Prometheus, well, just go look it up. It's about, you know, those Frankenstein kind of characters, you know, Dr. Frankenstein wanting to play God, you know, that's basically what Prometheus is about. Okay, and yeah, this is what the alien movie Prometheus is about. This is what the movie 9 is about, and this is what, of course, Frankenstein is about. Yeah. So now I've explained a lot of movies. A lot of those are recurring themes. Yeah, and I think it's interesting if you watch those movies in light of what I just hinted at.